It is time for the first update to Coasterland, and I have been hard at work adding new coasters and scenery elements to make those coasters look more exciting. So I'm going to zoom out for a top-down view and explain what I have done so far. The first video just had me explaining what I wanted to do with this monorail system as well as some of the paths. I didn't have a great idea for the zones I wanted, other than I wanted to add some water, some forest, and some mountains. You can see the water is taking shape here in the middle. The forest is probably going to go around here on the left, and the mountain is going to be on the right, as well as maybe some valley down on the north or south, the top of your screen right now. So in the previous video, I had shown you guys a POV of a coaster that I had spanning the entire circumference of the park. It kind of cut through the middle, and the reason I wanted to take it out and have taken it out was because it was interfering with my plan to do the coaster here in the middle with the water. So if you want to see that POV video, click the card on the top of your screen now. Now this one here, which doesn't really have a good name, it doesn't have a name at all really. This was another one I built just to get my foot in the door and have something to do. I think I'm going to delete this one as well. Because changing it would probably take too much effort, but I'm leaving it for now because it doesn't really interfere with anything and it fits nicely in the monorail, so it can stay. If you want to see a POV for this one, click on the card shown on the screen now. You can also see that my monorail is backed up here. It is closed because I found that editing with all the people in the park was just slowing down my computer. So I don't know what I'm going to do at a later date, but with no computer people in here to have to deal with, things run pretty smoothly and it makes the creation process a lot easier. So the first one I've been working on is this here called Rattler, and this was going to be a Western themed area. You can see some of that taking shape with the scenery, water tower, some of these shops and stands, but I didn't really like how it was fitting in with the cacti and the dead grass, as well as that overall orange painted scenery that gave it that Western look. It didn't fit in this overall alpine area. So I've picked these trees, just given it an autumn look, and I think it blends a little bit better with the terrain. I didn't have to go too overboard, so I'm explaining some of the scenery here. There might be a showcase on this one, but you can see I spent a lot of time actually doing this planter here, making the individual plants, changing the colors, trying to figure out how to make these paths work. Some picnic tables for people to hang out at. Everything's just a work in progress, but I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. It's a pretty, I guess, self-contained region. I wanted to block it out a little bit. Hopefully I'll be able to blend the scenery and the trees into the surrounding features or whatever is going in around here. Kind of didn't leave myself a lot of room to work with down here, but we'll try and make it work. Maybe just maybe a thrill ride or two, though this is Coasterland, so I'm going to try and keep the thrill rides to a minimum. So this is Rattler. I have already done a showcase video on this one, another first-person perspective. So if you're interested in that one, click on the card on your screen now. I hope these cards are working the way that I hope, because I haven't done a lot of them in the past. So nicely kind of swooping around the monorail here, trying to incorporate everything. I don't want things to just kind of butt up against each other in a way that looks a little too constructed. I want everything to be a bit more organic, which is why I tried to build it in the way that it is. So this one's right off Main Street. I like what's going on here. I like some of the scenery. It feels pretty nice to ride on, but if you want to see more of that, go ahead and click the card and the related video to watch that. So the next one here is the White Dragon. I have to be honest, I imported this one from a previous build, previous park, but I liked it so much that I had to keep it. Now a lot of it I had to adapt and change because of the region, but I was able to maintain a lot of the things that I had done in the past, like building this giant castle, which was a total pain in the butt. It took forever. And blending it into the scenery was really cool. I added this moat here. It used to be very flat, but on a live stream I actually was able to spice this up so it looks a lot more interesting than just flat ground like it was before. I wish I had before and after photos, but this will have to serve as a before. Maybe we'll talk about this one over here later, and that'll be a nice little before if I do add anything else there. So looking around here, you can see there is, I would say it's 50% done, the scenery. I've done a lot of the easy stuff, placing the trees, but really getting on the ground level and doing some of the really minor effects, like this camp area, is what's really important to me. And it's really the hard stuff. So if we look at this area up top here, it looks reasonable, but the density is just not there. You can see that it's like spotty placement with a lot of these bushes, like this tree down here, this rock just sticking out of this landscaping feature. When you run through some of these areas on the coaster, I haven't done a POV for this one yet, that'll be coming up soon, but when you run through this on a first-person ride, a lot of it just feels a little bit weak. So I want to bring it up to this level where you could almost walk through here the size of an actual guest and feel like everything fits and everything is fleshed out completely. So that's kind of what's going on there. There's some stuff in here. Again, this isn't done too in detail, too in depth. I'm probably going to remove some of these guys. They do take up some processing power, the animatronics, as well as the lighting. It's just really not there. So I didn't add too much in here because I thought not a lot of people would see it, but we will go more in depth in this one in maybe a showcase video or a POV definitely. It's a pretty cool coaster and I'm excited to show that one off to you guys. So the next one I want to talk about is, I don't have a name for this one. I mean, this one's definitely White Dragon. This one's definitely Rattler. Monorail's got to have a name. But I'm thinking something Stingray. I'm going to look up some of the different species of Stingray. Maybe something will jump out. But it is my water theme park, and I really wanted to give the sense of flying through the water like a Stingray does. So it's got some interesting things that you won't see on any of my other coasters. At least I don't plan that. Like this loop into a backwards loop. So if we come down here, this is the first drop that we're looking at. It comes down, helixes around to the left and up, going not too fast around here so we don't have some awful G's, and then it rolls backwards, what looks like negative G's, but the key here is that these cars are kind of like a flying experience for the customer, for the rider. So when you're pulling those negative G's, you're really just getting forced your back upwards into the seat since they're kind of hanging. Whereas the positive G's, the traditional positive G's, would be forcing them into the harnesses, which is less comfortable. So I don't know if the game takes that into account with this kind of coaster, but I did. I thought that would be important. So this is a really cool feature to ride because it's not something you really ever see, is pulling this like big negative G loop down towards the ground and then back up. But there's a lot of cool stuff in here. We'll talk about some of the challenges as well. I just have done a little bit with these islands. I don't really know the theme yet here, so I'm still working on it and still trying to add in some scenery. I've used sneak peek of what's going on down below. So as we go through the ground here, adding in some, trying to get in there, adding in some cool lighting there, which does actually work, which is cool, but gonna hopefully add some more to make this look as exciting visually as the Rattler and the White Dragon. So I'm gonna keep working. This is a lot of good stuff that I've been working on. I'm gonna do individual showcases of these coasters as well. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for more updates to Coasterland, and I'll see you guys in the next video.